Hello. Just give me a few more moments and we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. I am so happy you are here. I always appreciate your energy and anyone coming into this space and setting aside time for yourselves, for us together. This is going to be a truly incredible masterclass. So, welcome to the Unforgettable Masterclass. It is all about personal branding today, and it's really powerful. It's a powerful course, and I'm really excited for this. So excited for this. And we're just going to scratch the surface today. So branding can go really, really deep if you wanted to. And I think that some people overthink it. So I want this to be a masterclass that we go really deep on this topic together in regards to like one simple part of it. And I want you to look at this as, hey, this can be really simple. If you want to go deeper, there are more options to go deeper. I have consulting packages. We do this in the calibration room, but I'm going to get into that later. And I'll let you know how to go deeper at the end of this, but I think it's really important for us all to just understand that personal branding gets to be as easy as just have fun. Okay. So that's kind of what we're working with today. It's been a while. I was launching the calibration room, so haven't done a masterclass, and I'm so excited to come back. I feel like this is the best masterclass to come back to. I already feel the power coming through on this, and it's crazy because I thought I was going to do this, and then I decided to do it, and literally all week, the only conversations I've been having have been around personal branding. So divine timing for sure. And yeah, just off the charts, so excited to share this all with you. So how are you feeling? Tell me in the comments below. Let me know what's going on. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling nervous? All of them are legit. Maybe you're feeling tired. So while you comment below, I'll introduce myself. If you don't know me yet, my name is Caitlin. I am a CEO of a few marketing agencies, Web 2 and Web 3. I'm also the founder of the Calibration Room, which is a networking and mastermind group for non-binary and the women of Web3. We launched around NFT NYC. It has been magical. So marketing, personal branding, and holding powerful spaces are my jam. So you are in the right place. I love strategy. And I think that you need strategy for anything that you do in your marketing. But even more, I love energetics, the energetics of marketing, the energetics of branding. And because I think that strategy is a must, it's important, but it only takes you so far. And what sets you apart, especially in spaces that start to get a little bit noisy or overcrowded, is the energetics. So today I'm going to touch a little bit on strategy, but a lot on the energetics of your personal brand. So what you're going to learn today is what it takes to create a truly powerful brand, one that people can't stop thinking about, that when they think of your industry or your niche, you are the first person that comes to their mind. That's what we want. And this is, again, so divinely timed because we are in a perfect time in Web3 where the noise is a little bit less. There's not a launch every 2 days. And there's the sense and atmosphere of just room to breathe, room to move. Room to turn inward. And this is a great mindset to be in when you are starting to build the foundations of your project, your business, yourself, all right, in your brand. So really start to turn inward in this time. Maybe you've started already. Maybe you're starting with this masterclass, and hopefully you will continue to do this for a little bit longer until we really hone in on our personal brand and our purpose and what our next moves are. So you have to turn inward at first, and you should before you ever start turning outward, because when you start to turn outward, that's when you start to execute effectively. Okay. And well, that's when you just start to execute. But if you haven't done the internal work first, you're kind of shooting all over the place and your energy is everywhere, and it confuses people. Okay. And not saying that you need to pick like one thing about your personal brand. You will see that quickly that that's not what I'm talking about. But there's a difference between knowing who you are, knowing what your overall life purpose is, and testing a few things out, in the Web3 space versus like not knowing who you are, not knowing what you stand for, not knowing what you want to stand for, on top of maybe you have a project, maybe you don't. But it all stems from internally, what do you want to stand for? What is your purpose in life? Everything needs to stem from that, including your personal brand. All right. So yes, the noise has died down in Web3. There's still a lot going on. All right. And it will explode even more. And now is the time. Now is the time to stake your claim, to become known for what you want to become known for, and to own it so you can stay visible and rise as a leader in our space, in your space. So no matter how many people come in and start doing the same exact thing that you are doing, you being able to fully step into your personal power and your brand is what is going to keep you as the leader of the pack. All right. So let's start out with some deep breaths. Let's start out with some deep breaths. So breathe in. Breathe into your heart and your lungs and breathe out. Okay, do that again. And when you breathe out the next time, release. I want you to release your tension, release your expectations, release your to-do list, the outside world. Okay, so breathe in. Breathe out and release. Get cozy, shake things out that you need to shake out, and release it all. But I do want you to hold this duality. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I love teaching about holding dualities. You'll see this in almost all my master classes. I think it is what is so powerful about leaders is being able to walk with sadness while also with gratitude, to be able to walk with the strategy of marketing, with the energetics of marketing. So I teach a lot about this, and the same goes with this too. So right now, I want you to release expectations. All right. Again, release the tension in your body, your to-do list, and your expectations about what this masterclass has for you. Okay. So release any expectations that you have. It's probably going to be a little bit different than what you're expecting. Most of my masterclasses are, because I like to get woo. I like to get energetic, but also hold the duality with the idea. So while you're releasing your expectations about this masterclass, hold the idea that this masterclass has the potential to change your life, because it truly does have that. Okay. I like to teach very simple, specific masterclasses that go super deep on one topic. I believe that it's the small mindset shifts, or just like little ways of thinking, are always the most powerful. Always. I like to call them codes. And I didn't create this. I picked up along the way. A lot of people teach in, teaching codes. And once these codes get integrated into your mind, into your body, your soul, you start to show up differently and make different decisions. And you start to attract more incredible things. Your soul family, your ideal audience, your buyers, your opportunities. So this is what today is. I'm going to leave you with a code of how to show up as your personal brand on the energetics of it. And I love doing this because this might be simple, but it might not be in a way that you thought before. But once it clicks with your brain has automatically up leveled. There's no way to go back. Like once you kind of like take the veil off of like, oh my gosh, like I knew that, but I didn't think about it that way. Or, oh my gosh, like this totally makes sense. I can't believe I didn't think about that before. And then you start to kind of evolve as a human. And which in the Web3 space, that automatically means that your personal brand evolves, your leadership evolves, your sales evolve. Okay. So, what does it take to live rent free in someone's head? I have 3 pillars that I want to walk you through. It's the 3 pillars of truly becoming successful as a personal brand and truly becoming unforgettable. In marketing and all types of marketing, there's the rule, and you may have heard of this, that someone needs to have contact with you or your brand or your message 7 to 12 times before ever purchasing from you. So you see a lot of brands and people constantly showing up on social media, throwing money at ads, which is great and fine, and that is a really effective way on how to get seen everywhere. It's called omnipresence. It's a very effective strategy that I also teach. But how can you either take that strategy and take it up a notch, or maybe you don't want to be posting 20,000 times a day and posting every second or paying for ads. Maybe you just don't have the means to do any of that right now. There is another way, and it is your personal brand. This is how you do that. So think about being the person in your niche that people find on Twitter and TikTok, and their interest is piqued because they like your vibe. They go to your personal channel and they are just captivated. They can't stop scrolling and looking at your posts and saving the content that you've been posting. And then they want more. So they hit that bell and then they subscribe to every time that you post, they get alerted. Or maybe it's when somebody asks who they should follow on Twitter, like who's a great person in this or doing that. You are the person who comes to mind and then who gets tagged. All right. So this is the whole point of building a personal brand, is to be in people's minds, to always be top of mind, because when you are top of mind, they might not be ready to purchase right now, but when they are coming to you. All right. So building a personal brand should be what you're doing every day, but it should not feel like work, because it should be coming from a place of authenticity, which I'm going to get into. But I want you to think of an icon right now, somebody who you think is an icon or unforgettable something, doing something, or think about a few. What sets them apart? Why are they so iconic? As you think about that, and as we walk through this, it's going to help you embody all of this and to truly understand and to integrate that code into your mind, body, and soul. So the first pillar is just understanding yourself and then harnessing your truth. So I want you to sit with these questions that I'm going to go over, and I want you to come back and re-listen to this masterclass, or write it down now and journal it. Really sit down and journal it. Also, this is going to be live and free for 4 days, and 4 days if you're watching this at the time of the drop. If you are in the calibration room, my networking group, you will get lifetime access to this. Okay. But the reason why I'm making this short is that this is incredible and I want to sell it. Also, I think that putting caps on it like help you to move you to finish things. So this is why you get the 4 days. So just keep that in mind as you're writing these questions down and you're thinking about rewatching this. So the first question is, what are you good at? Second question is, what makes you memorable? So really think about these, because what comes easily to you and what you have accomplished is already watered down in your mind and with your ego because you've already been there. So at one point, it might have felt like magic, or you might have like truly felt that it's what set you apart. And it might not feel like magic anymore, but it is. And others see it that way. So most times, what you think is the easiest thing in the world, it's easy because that's what you're good at. And it's the simplest things too. And this is why sometimes creating a personal brand is hard, because you sit with yourself every day, and what is magical might not feel magical. I also urge you to kind of like tap back in, like as you go through these questions, you're answering this, like tap back into the magic of you, of what makes you easy. So the mundane things that you do every day, tap into the magic of that. When you start to do them, if you maybe you do, I don't know, maybe you get up in the morning and you do just like a stretch. If that's it, feel into that magic every day, you know? Yeah. And what you think is the easiest thing in the world, people don't, and they need help with. And a lot of other people probably need help with it. And then also, like, what makes you unique? Thinking about that question and what makes you memorable, the mundane things that you do every day, just kind of like what we talked about, are actually what make you unique. And also what most people don't do. So what you think is boring, other people truly desire and crave and are really interested in that. Which has been fascinating to watch. So I urge you to come out of your body and put on a different lens. Do you wear a certain hat every day? Do you throw on pink lipstick every day and not think about it? That is something I know for me. This ring I wear every day, I didn't think anything of it, but everybody talks about my ring. Everybody. Not only is it part of my personal brand now, but it actually is a conversation starter in TikToks, in anything where I can post a picture. People talk about it. What else? I'm trying to think what else I do. And wear just a lot of crystals in general. Another thing too is that in some of my TikToks, you can hear babies screaming in the background. I get a lot of comments on that, but people love that because it's me. They want to see a personal brand that's in their power, but that's also really relatable. And that's something that they just don't have. Like, people love little babies, and a lot of people don't have little babies, so they can vicariously live through mine. Okay, so for me, I'll answer some of these questions, and I actually wrote these down. So let me just take a look at them really quickly, and then hopefully this will kind of help guide you. So for me, I'm really good at holding spaces. I'm good at infusing adventure into my weeks. I'm good at working at home with kids yelling in the background. I'm even better working in silence in a hole for a few hours at a time. I'm good at finding holes in marketplaces, finding trends. I'm great at analytics, great at the energetics of marketing. How am I unique and memorable? Like, what's something memorable about me? And yes, like, look at the mundane first, the things that you think are mundane or really easy. Look at those first. But you can also take it up a notch, and I urge you to. So it's memorable that I had a $20,000 day in 2020 during the quarantine. It's really memorable that in 2022, this year, that I had a $210,000 day this year. That's huge. That's memorable, and when I post about that, it's people, their heads turn. It's memorable that I built my first business after writing off the unsustainable expectations that corporate and agency life have just put on me in the past. It's memorable that I started a business shortly after my 2-month-old had heart surgery. It's memorable that I have a lot of fun, and people literally think that I'm lying because I don't have fun. They don't think I'm that happy, but I am. So it's just thinking about all of these things. It's memorable that I started saying no to certain things that I used to say yes to, that I take on clients based on the frequency and vibes of our first conversation versus if they can pay me or not. It's memorable that I've taken marketing expert, that title, kind of like off my own personal identity, and have stepped into different roles and played in different roles besides the marketing expert. Because that's more of like what other people put me in. That's what I'm good in. But like, which also gets me to another point, is what do you have fun doing? I have fun doing certain parts of marketing. I also have a lot of fun doing other things, hanging out with people. And it might not have anything to do with your work or your job or what you want to be in the space, but just in general, like, what do you have fun doing? All right. So having fun is a big part of this. Make sure you're having fun. So the other part of what we need to journal on is, when are you the most happiest and content? Like, what feeling, like what vibe? This is going to be the vibe that you want to create from. So we can talk about, feeling at peace, when you're successful, when you're satisfied, surprised, like what word or vibe kind of resonates with you. Get yourself into that vibe, create a life around that vibe, document it and share it. So is your vibe sitting in this quiet spa, relaxed and at peace? Like maybe you're taking a mud bath. Maybe you find pleasure in the quiet moments of eating dessert, floating around the pool, sunbathing, getting facials. Maybe you are in the vibe when you accomplish something big. Were you working on this big art piece for years and you finally finished it? Maybe you manifested something big that day. Maybe you brought 10 clients in 1 week with only working 10 hours. So when are you most in your element? It could be when you are going on an adventure, going hiking, getting outdoors, spending quality time exploring a new town. Maybe it's a day that you got to work out. You had a stimulating conversation with somebody. You cleaned your house all before 10 and you feel very accomplished in just, creating a space that where you feel really accomplished. And then maybe it's, maybe you feel at your element, like when you get a gift or a surprise or something surprises you. Like maybe it was supposed to be sunny out today, but it had a storm and you were like really excited about it. Depends on where you are. Right now, I'm like coming from a space of it's 120 degrees outside in Arizona, and a rainstorm would feel amazing right now. Maybe it was supposed to storm, but it's a bright, beautiful day, and now you get to go outside. So tap into what is your vibe? Like, what's the vibe where you feel like just totally incredible? All right. So the second pillar of this is now not just knowing and journaling on this stuff, it is owning your power. It is how you turn your uniqueness and memorability into becoming unforgettable. So there is the moment of stepping into this power, of claiming this power and saying, yes, like this is how I'm going to show up. This is who I am. This is what gets me lit up, and then doing it. So it's like when you walk into a room, or somebody walks into a room, and they don't have to scream or be like, hey guys, what's up? They just walk into the room, and like their mere presence makes people turn, and they'll like turn and look, and they'll turn away, but they'll still kind of be watching you from the corner of their eye, or maybe they look at you just a little bit longer and they turn back, and you get what I mean. Like there are those people that just have this presence about them. And it's because they are owning their power. They're owning what makes them happy, and what makes them feel alive and evolved. And they are staying in that power. So what we want to do with this personal brand is we want to find ways to embody our power, get into our power, and stay in our fire, stay lit up. That is the personal brand, is like what makes you lit up. Follow that. And that's when you start to live rent free in people's heads and their minds. It's what takes you from a 10 to a 20, from great to unforgettable again. Like that is the magic. It's so important that you are tapping into that. And if it's truly you and what you love to do, it might feel weird at first, yes, but it should quickly start to become normal and easy. So maybe you're doing something incredibly fun, and you're now getting all of these downloads, because that's what happens when you are in a space of in your total element and one with the universe. You start to get downloads, and then you can just tweet all day long as you go about your day like it was nothing. You don't have to overthink a tweet. You're just like, oh, this popped in my head, I'm going to tweet about it. Or, oh, hey, look at me living my life, I'm going to take a picture of this and document it. It starts to become really easy from a place of not just doing the strategy of like, oh, like what should I post today, or what should I do, or the algorithm wants this, but really coming from the space of I'm already doing what I love to do, and I'm lit up, and I'm just gonna roll with this, and I'm gonna take the video, and I'm just gonna talk. Very different vibe, very different energy, and people will feel that. And again, don't be afraid to be shocking, and not in a crazy way that it's going to make people feel unsafe around you. Like, don't go off the hinges. It's not a place from ego or like trying to bash somebody or saying something to try to make somebody else feel bad. Intentionality is, if you are going to be shocking, is important. For example, I talked about my $210,000 day on TikTok, and it truly came from a space of me wanting to empower women, because there are mindset issues in the Web3 and NFT space. And I've done a lot of mindset work, and I wanted to show people that one of those days can actually be really easy. You just have to think outside the box, and you have to work on your mindset. It truly is. I mean, it came from selling to 5 people and a little bit of recurring income, but you hear of these people just building and building and building this 10,000 piece collection for months and months and months, and they sell, and it's crickets, so it can be really hard to sell 10,000 pieces. It's a lot easier to sell 5. You just need to know who you want to market to, how to market to them. But really, more than anything, at that price point, it comes from you embodying your vibes, putting it out there, documenting, and just saying what you offer. People are wildly attracted to that. It's crazy. And this might feel like a weird concept to people. Are like, I don't know how this works. Like, this is crazy talk, but try it for 3 months, and your world will change. And it's not just gonna bring you more followers, bring you more sales. It will change your life. It will make you feel so good. You will become a different person. So yeah, where was I? Oh yeah. So don't be afraid to be shocking, but do it in a really authentic way. Do it in a way that like you've been shocked by yourself. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this is happening. Like this is what I did, you guys. Like, come celebrate with me. And you can do this too. Or like, let me show you how to do this. And just get after it and show people what is possible for themselves. And do it with zero watering down. Okay. Like, you don't want to come from a place of ego, but you also don't want to water down and be like, well, guess what? Like this was okay. Like, no, like get after it, get excited, share your excitement. It should feel so good. And you should be showing up in that vibe. It should be empowering you. It should be empowering the space. It should be empowering the world. I swear that's like the energy that we are working with. So it's actually your duty in this space to show up in a shockingly unforgettable way, because it gives others permission to do the same. And if you can imagine a world where all these humans showed up as their best, most authentic, highest genuine selves, like serious fire, we would be unstoppable. There would be so much impact in this world. It would be insane. Okay, so like with that said though, like how can you tap into this? It's really simple. You do it. You move. Don't overthink it. You go and you live. Go live. Just think about like, okay, like what would make me happy today? All right, I'm going to do that. It can be as simple, because people are like, well, I can't afford to like go out of town, but it can be as simple as like sitting with your cup of coffee and smelling into it and feeling really good. Maybe instead of working inside today, you worked outside. Maybe instead of sitting at your chair all day, you got up and you walked around your neighborhood and truly just like looked at the magic around you. So it doesn't have to be like this huge thing. Maybe you put on lipstick because it makes you feel freaking like a boss. That's all you have to do. People are magnetized too. People are magnetized by other people who are living in their element, who exude happiness and joy and gratitude. They might not know it too. And I got deeper into, if you saw the undercurrent of success masterclass, we did a little bit there, but subconsciously they feel it. It's in human design. In human design, they have this thing, it's called the magnetic monopole that they talk about. And it's an energetic thing, but they've done some weird studies about it. And it is an energy center. It's kind of like this energy portal in your body, kind of like a chakra zone. And it's an energy center in your heart area. And it literally lights up and extends your aura. And it's supposed to be your North Compass. Like, it's supposed to help you just direct everything in life, with the decisions you're supposed to make, to what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to live. And it's supposed to be there for divine guidance, to like, you are supposed to follow. Like when you feel lit up in your heart, like follow that. Like you are supposed to follow that's there for a reason. I feel like I can't stress that enough. But once you know your path and you're going down that path because you know it's your path because you're lit up, more and more people will start to feel that frequency, and that frequency will become stronger. It's like you're this magnetic monopole. It's magnetic. The more you follow that, it's like the stronger it becomes. And people just start like coming to you, and eyes start turning, and you get more followers, and people just want to be in your world. People are magnetized to you. So listen, feel into your body and do what you need to do to feel that and follow that. And why people follow that subconsciously, I don't know, but I personally think it's because it's an energy that subconsciously feels really good for others, because it's the energy that people try to find for themselves, sometimes their entire lives, and sometimes they never find it, because a lot of people think that finding their purpose is an end goal, when in reality it's just following that fire. So everyone is looking for happiness and purpose and fulfillment. And you get that by following what lights you up. So if you are doing that and people are seeing that and they're feeling your energy frequency and that magnetism, they want to know what's up. Like they want to feel that too. That's what creates a huge brand where people can't stop like turning and looking at you and going to your TikTok to see if you posted a video. And just thinking about it, like you can tell when someone walks in the room and like the energy just is like, oh, like they bring a dark cloud with them. I'm just like, oh my God, like what is that person doing here? This is so weird. You can also tell when somebody comes in and the energy that just like shifts however it needs to shift, like lighter and brighter. Be that shift. But be the positive shift, And again, it doesn't need to be like this big boisterous thing. It can be like a very grounded energy. If that's like the energy that you feel really your best in, come in with that grounded energy. People will see that. People, it's going to be a little bit more subtle, but it's just going to be just as powerful. So when it comes to Web3 and artists, especially, people don't decide to buy for the deal, like the deal that you have that week, of course there's always outliers, but for the most part, they buy because art makes them feel something. It's you, the person behind the art, that makes them feel something. The stories behind the art that makes them feel something. All right. So the same goes with yourself, your personal brand, your marketing, everything else. So show up in this energy as your highest, most lit up self. And then, of course, I've said this before, but share it. This is like the strategy part of it. Like, yes, go live your best life, but also don't forget to share it. Again, it might feel weird at first, or you might even forget at first, but just consciously try to be like, oh my God, like this moment, like me looking outside and seeing the leaves sway on this tree, it brings so much life to me, and just again, like being in that energy and creating from that energy is huge. It really is huge. So if you're trying to be a brand, don't forget to document. You can't forget to document. Go live, get into your magnetic energy, share it with the world, create from that energy, So maybe I go sit outside and I look up and I'm looking at these like swaying leaves and I'm like, oh, like, what do I want to talk about today? Maybe it's nothing. Maybe I just want to show up, and even just being in that vibe on a video is really powerful. Make art from that energy, build your community from that energy, talk to people in that energy, make decisions for that energy, like all the decisions, sell from that energy. Like that is a very powerful energy. So for me, adventures are my jam. Like, that's what makes me feel really lit up is adventures. And, so I like to go explore. I make sure I go on walks every single day. There's a place that I like to go walk to. It's like a little hike that's like pretty easy, but there's like little nooks in the mountain that I like to go into and just like sit there, and I'll bring my phone notes with me, or I'll write voice memos. Sedona is a 2-hour drive away. Like I love to go there sometimes, but I make it like, I know that's what lights me up. And I go to Sedona a lot, and obviously that's not feasible for everyone or for me even every single week, but I try to get there. But I try to do things that make me feel adventurous, even if it's just meditating, and like I'm meditating in that space of me walking Sedona and sitting on the vortexes, like that in itself will get you in that vibe. And then being authentic. Okay. So that's another part too, is that if you're not feeling it one day, like if you're having a shitty day, go feel that feeling and get out of the way, and then come back when you're authentic, and don't try to pretend someone you're not. Like if you really don't like adventures, like if you could care less about going to Sedona and going hiking, like don't do that. Maybe for you, it literally is sitting in a little corner reading a book. Like feel into what's authentic for you, because if it's not authentic, then you're kind of just showing up. You're showing up in a vibe, but it's not coming from that magnetic monopole vibe that, we just talked about, that magnetizes people to you. So yes, you're showing up as a brand, but you're not showing up as a brand that actually like is going to make you memorable, if that makes sense. All right. So the last pillar, which kind of brings it back around to the beginning, which is why I want to start, is releasing. This is the last pillar. And for some, it can be really hard to do. It's turning off the noise and thoughts in your head. It's turning off the doubts, the guilt, the shame, because I know this is going to come up. I get this all the time. The I'm not good enough, the imposter syndrome, the people will make fun of me fear. Turn it off, release it. When you are meditating, if you're a meditator, if not, highly recommend it, especially with getting into this personal brand vibes, and you're visualizing and feeling into your highest self. Does your highest self like care about what others think? More than likely, no. And I know for a fact that that's no, like that's just not what the higher self does. That's what the ego does. But I do get that there can be some actual trauma around this, or limiting beliefs that feel really heavy and really real in ourselves that we need to work through. And I'm not going to go through this in this masterclass because it's a whole other masterclass and ways to work through these things. But I'm going to list a few things that I've seen that have stopped people from showing up fully and embodying. And I really urge you to journal about it and think about it, because awareness is step one. And I think it is the most powerful step into releasing any of this stuff, is just being like, oh yeah, like that's me. Like I feel this way. So here are some fears that I see from clients a lot. It's the fear of like safety and like being attacked. That is a fear that I've seen. A fear of rejection, getting made fun of, a fear of not being loved, of not being accepted. So those are just a few. Journal on it. Really journal on what is setting you back. Maybe you don't feel worthy. You don't feel worthy of the spotlight. Why is that? So ask yourself that. And then it's what I call following the fear. So, okay, like ask yourself like why, and follow like, okay, like, well, what if that actually does happen? What if somebody comes on and makes fun of me? Then what? And then you answer and you say, okay, well, and then what? Then what happens? And you follow it down to the end until you're like, well, oh, well, all right. Usually you get to the end and you're like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad, because usually you realize it's not going to break you. It's not going to kill you. All right. So even just talking through that fear makes it really small. For some reason, our minds get so wrapped up in the what ifs of the fear that we forget to step back and look at that bigger picture and really put these fears into perspective. So think about it, do the work if any of these things become an issue for you. But a few things that I want you to think about if you are having trouble releasing is to think about this. What does it mean to show up in your power and create from a very visible personal brand, like authentically, like 100,000% owning it? All right. Pause and think about that. I'm also going to go through a few of what I think, because it's true. And as leaders in the space, being early to this space, this is really important. Even at this point, like if you're not early to this space, like it's still important, because somebody's always going to be steps behind you. So you are helping here to show people who are 1 step, 2 step, 5 steps, 10 steps, 100 steps behind you, that they can step into their power too. You send out that ripple effect of this mindset and this power. And again, like if we showed up in this power, if everyone showed up in this power, the world would be an incredible place. You attract and magnetize your soul family to you. Whereas before you wouldn't, like, there's a lot of people on TikTok, a lot of people on Twitter, and a lot of people just get scrolled by and get forgotten about. Like, be that person showing up. Like, don't be that person. Like, be the person who people stop for and they want to look at. That you magnetize your soul family to you, your ideal audience. And once you get past any fears of doing this, it actually feels really good. And I can tell you from experience, because it took me years to truly tap into my power. And mine was the fear of being made fun of. And it can feel really scary to talk about certain things. But once you do, and if this is a fear, start small and go bigger. But once you actually start to talk about what you really want to talk about and stand for something in a really big way without any with full conviction. It's like, it's kind of like that dream where you like are trying to scream and nothing comes out. Think about that. And then think about like all of a sudden, like not being able to scream. And then all of a sudden, like you can scream in your dream. Like how freaking good would that feel? That's what that feels like, or like the dream where you like are trying to run and your legs won't move. And it's just like, what if that just suddenly released and all of a sudden you were like flying and you were sprinting? Like that is so powerful. Like that's how good it feels. So I have a visualization I personally do myself with this to help me stay in my power. Maybe I'll record that one day. Let me know if that's something that you guys would like. But another thing to think about is the flip side. So what do you lose out on if you don't show up in your personal power as a personal brand? Personal empowerment. And that is at the end of the day, when you're 90 years old and you look back, you don't want any what ifs. You don't want like any like, oh, I should have done that. You want to look back and say like, fuck yeah, I did that. I did that. I did that. And have no regrets and feel so proud of yourself. If you don't do it, like we said, you become invisible. Nobody will see you. Nobody will buy. People will just keep scrolling. And that means you lose out on impact. And I can tell you that somebody out there needs to hear what you have to say, needs to see you being in your power. So sit back, again, like re-listen to this, come back to it whenever you need to get into this like unforgettable eye turner showstopper vibes. Journal, meditate about everything we talked about today, then move. You have to move, you have to live, and you have to document it. The most successful people you see out there aren't the ones who are driving themselves into the ground, burning themselves out. They are the ones who are building intentionally, starting with themselves and their brand, and that's you. Everything in Web3 needs to come from the inside out, everything in general. But I think that Web3 is what's going to be changing this. Start from the inside out. It is for you, for your success. It's also for the future and in the world and the people coming after you. It's setting the stage for this next generation of how we show up in this world, the good that we do in this world, the impact that we make from a very great intentional place. And that's who's going to succeed in the future, are the people coming from this place. So what do you stand for? How do you want others to authentically see you? Again, authentically. It has to be authentic. Show up in this power, embody this. This is going to be your fastest way to success. I can promise you that. Because the people who win in marketing in any space have a personal brand. Yeah. So let's recap again, and then we'll close out. So what makes you unique? What do you care about? What do you stand for? What makes you memorable? Connect to that purpose, connect that to your art. If you're creating from this vibe, do it. Everything should be an extension of yourself. So before you even create, like, again, like get into these vibes and then create magic from there. What makes you a little shocking? So you can stir the pot a little in with all the best intentions. Again, we don't want any weird like vibes going on. We want this to be like purely like pure energy shock, not like, haha, I'm going to do this to make people angry because I feel like making people angry, or to make that person feel bad. And then what do you believe in that some people might not? This is a big one. What's something that bugs you about your industry that you can stand for? This is what's going to set you apart too. So for me, it's no bro marketing. When I first came into this space, all the DMs were like, yo, bro, check this out. Yo, bro, check this out. That's died down a little bit, but I was very headstrong on like, if you do that, if you sign into people's DMs all sketchily, it's not going to work. I'm highly against buying promoters to promote your stuff for you. I'm all about promoting hype from the inside out, from yourself, from your community. So I've really taken a stand in that. I've taken a stand in it's easy to make a $200,000 day. Like it just, experiencing it, it is. And I will always stand for that. And that's something that I think can shock people, but it truly is something that I believe in and that I can help people do. So know what you stand for, embody your highest self by actively creating a life that you love, sharing it, sharing your art, your work, whatever it is that you want from this place, and work every day to release what could be holding you back. That's gonna be really important too, because again, anything watered down, like you can show up as a brand and at first it might feel weird. So it will be a little watered down and that's fine. Don't be hard on yourself, but actively work towards releasing anything you need to be able to 100%, 110% show up as your authentic self from this higher space. So I'll leave it there. I'll end there. If you're ready to go, you can go. If you want to learn about how to go deeper, please stay. This will be great for you. I do have some things. Also, if you got something out of this, I would be so appreciative if you left a comment, if you left a remark, if you shared something on social media and gave me a tag. I will retweet you too. I truly appreciate any feedback and any love that you want to give. So again, this is going to be free only until the end of August 8th. That's Monday, my time, PST. You have all day on the 8th, and then that will come down, probably honestly come down probably right before I go to bed or the next morning when I wake up. This will then get repackaged up with a few other goodies and then be sold. And then if this is the end of our road together, like, thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to be a part of your world today. It truly means everything to me that you showed up in your energy. If you are looking for more support, we are going deeper in this in the calibration room. Again, that's my networking and mastermind group for non-binary and the women of Web3. These calls are powerful. So our next two calls are going to be week of August 15th. I'm not sure on the exact days, but there's two calls and we are going to pick this apart. We're going to go into breakout rooms and we're going to talk a lot about what could be holding us back, what we're memorable for, what others think that what others see in us that maybe we don't see. So this is going to be a hugely powerful next call with everyone where we get to actively work together on our personal brand. I would love for you to join if you are feeling called right now. We still have spaces left for joining as a founding member. So as a founding member, you get extra perks. And the biggest thing though, is that you get to pay the yearly price for membership, which is $400 at this point of recording. And once the founding membership is completed, so that $400 is for life. Once the founding member spots fill up, then that $400 becomes a yearly membership. Okay. So if you're feeling called to network with other women, to build deep connections, to mastermind and actually get hands-on support with what you're working on, then this is going to be for you 100%. All right. So if that is something that you're interested in, just let me know. You can find me really anywhere. But I would love for you to join. You can find more information at at calibrationroom.io. So calibrationroom.io. I'll put some links below. And yeah, my Twitter DMs are open, but there's also consulting, one-on-one support. If you're looking for one-on-one support, I do that as well. That's all I have for you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, your energy. I so appreciate you. Now go live freaking big.